What's up, everybody? You know what time it is? It's Thursday, Friday. No, just kidding. It's Tuesday, guys. Come on, Tuesday at 4 o'clock. That's our live time here at Everything Phoenix, right? We are live once a week, about 49 to 50 weeks out of the year. We're pretty darn consistent with this thing. And so this is a great place for you to consistently show up and get your news on what's happening with the Phoenix housing market. There is no other place you're going to find more data, more truth, and what's really happening than right here. And because of that, I get crucified sometimes on social media by some people who are watching, but I'm okay with that. I have thick skin. Right? I can take it. But I love the comments. I love people saying what they truly feel and calling me out if you feel I'm wrong. It's all good. It's a free country. That's what it's about. Debate back and forth. Who's right, who's wrong. Only time will tell. But today we're talking more about the housing market update and what is going on nationally, as well as more specifically locally here with the Phoenix, Arizona area. So, guys, let's dive right in. Here we go. You're seeing the suburbs. Let's get it after it right now. Chandler, Gilbert, Fountain Hills, all the way down to Paradise Valley are in a seller's market. No, I didn't say that incorrectly. A seller's market. Now, I know it doesn't feel like that in many cases across micro areas, neighborhoods within those suburbs, which is true. But generally speaking, pulling all the data from a suburb, which, Scottsdale is very large. We're talking almost 300,000 people. So that is a big segment to just lump together. But nonetheless, you have to do it. You have to cut the borders off somewhere, right? And 121 is where Scottsdale comes in. Chandler, 147, pretty strong, although the trend is not good. Guys, there's not a lot of green on the board. Now, if you remember last week, there were two green arrows. Now there's three. So a little improvement, I guess, but the trend is still going in the wrong direction. Why is that? Well, let's look at trustee deeds by month. You can see it right here, guys. Everyone's talking about foreclosures. Guys, trustee sales in Arizona are foreclosures. It is the same thing, generally speaking, okay? The technicalities of it are a little bit different, obviously, because of the state law, but we are a trustee sale state. And guys, there are an increase of foreclosures, let's call it, happening. No question about it. You can see the graph right here, down 21, 22, and 23. And then as we get into 25 and early on in 26, the foreclosures are going up. Now, in retrospect, how does it compare to 2015? It doesn't, right? I mean, we're talking not even a remotely close number of trustee sales occurring, but we are equivalent to, somewhere right about here. What is that? February 2019, guys. So would anybody say 2019 was a horrible market? Would anyone say in 2019, was anyone saying that the market was crashing? Now, outside of the YouTube people that just have the clickbait, right, going on, the guy Accenture Real Estate. Yeah, the guy Accenture Real Estate, go to his channel. I'm not going to promote it because but I'm calling him out right now because he talks about the sky is falling in Phoenix all the time. Guys, go back 3 years, 4 years, 5 years on this guy's channel, and almost every episode is talking about how Phoenix is going to crash with the housing market. Now, if you listen to him, you would have missed out on over 56% of home appreciation over the past 5 or so years. So be careful who you listen to, because even a clock sometimes can be right 2 times a day. My grandpa told me that a long time ago. But the reality is, guys, the market goes up and it does go down, but it's not always going up and it's not always going down. And so the people who are selling that message are just trying to make money off ads on this platform of YouTube or whatever platform they're on. And unfortunately, it's not, because negative headlines sell, guys. Just look at anybody's negative headline. I don't care if they're selling bicycles or real estate or whatever they're doing. If it's negative, the view count will always outpace the view count on a video that is just talking about something positive. Okay, that's just how the human brain and psychology works. Okay, so trustee sales are up, no question about it. Does that mean the market's crashing? I don't know. You be the judge. I would say not, because this is very comparative to February of 2019, where nobody in 19 or 18 thought the market was going down. Now, it's all relative. It's all relative, right? You might think it's crashing with only a certain amount of foreclosures. Someone else says, no, it's comparative to 2019, and the market was actually pretty darn good. And everything was kind of roses, going in the right direction until COVID hit in 2020. Now, let's go to months supply. Oh yeah, I love it. Builder Bob, what's going on? UK, Liverpool. This is cool. I mean, you're what, 8 hours ahead? So, man, you're up late, right? You're up late. You're about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock there or so. But thank you for popping on here and saying what's going on. Are you a buyer, seller, or investor? This is what we are asking right now. So I'm going to put it in the comments like I just did. But if you have a chance to drop it in the comment below, let me know what you are watching today, because we can curate information towards what mainly our audience is. Now, I know a lot of people are looking to relocate to Phoenix, so it's a great buying segment here that watches our channel. But we're grateful for all of you guys for doing so. Now, let's head back to the data. Okay. Months of supply. Guys, months of supply is actually down a little bit across the valley. All right. This is interesting. It's down a little bit, but nonetheless, it's not great. You're still 4 to 5 months, no matter what graph you look at. And then going back over here, another graph on notice of trustee sales by month for residential parcels. And you can see that obviously it is slowly but surely increasing. Okay. Yeah, Bob, what's going on? I love the comments. Here we go. I'm looking at coming over at the start of September, around Labor Day, first week, or for 2 weeks. Okay. Will it still be warm then or not? Yes, it will be, Bob. He'll be warm. Bring your sunscreen, bring your straw circle hat or whatever, right? Gives you the most shade and a lot of water. Well, you can buy all that stuff here, actually, if you don't want, you don't have to bring it with you. But it will be hot, guys. I talk about all the time that Phoenix has 2 seasons. They have one that is called pure awesomeness, which is 8 months out of the year for the most part. Okay. And then they have the second season, which is called hot. And it is hot in June, July, August, and September. Now, somebody who lives in Alaska or Canada, maybe the Yukon territory or something like that, they would probably say that, Kelly, May is a little toasty and October can be a little toasty. But Google your average temperatures and you're talking the low 90s-ish, right? Around there. Maybe the mid 90s. And that's not that hot in Arizona because we have very little humidity. So what might be 95 to Arizona for someone living in the Midwest or East Coast, that could be very much so equivalent to the mid 80s or lower 80s. Okay. So pretty reasonable still on those 2 shoulder months. Okay. All right. Awesome. Now let's head back to the data. Right. Listings canceled per week. This is interesting, right? Now it's somewhat cyclical and seasonal. Okay. Here we are in week 29 of 2025. Now that was, what's that? That's like mid-year to a degree. Okay. And then over here, which is summertime when it's hot, right? And then you have the end of the year, Christmas time, towards the end of the year, where canceled listings obviously increase the most. And then they drop off. Okay. Now look at the red graph right here. This is 2026. Where are we? We had very little canceled listings because it's the first of the year. People are putting their properties on the market with hope that they're going to sell quickly because of the seasonal market that we have here in Phoenix and the nice weather. And then it starts to increase right here and kind of bounces around. So right now, canceled listings are a big thing. Now, if you don't believe me nationally, it's happening too, guys. Check this out. This headline: nearly 1 in 7 home sales are falling through, a record for this time of the year. Guys, 1 in 7 home sales are actually canceling. We haven't seen this for over 10 plus years in the marketplace in Phoenix, let alone the rest of the year. Why? Because buyers understand they have more leverage than ever. If you get under contract, which those properties do, and they cancel, it's because primarily the main thing is the due diligence the buyer has. And they go through their inspections. They call out certain items, and the seller says, "No, man, I'm giving you a great deal on maybe a rate buy down, maybe a heck of a deal on the purchase price. No, I'm not fixing all this stuff." And I hear this all the time, guys. It's not a new home. Buyers understand that. They know they're not buying a new home if it's built in 2002 or something like that. But reality is they just have the leverage, and so they're starting to use it to their advantage and throw that around, wanting big credits and or things fixed that maybe are still working, but they're old, that sort of thing. And so if the sellers right now are saying, "No, kick rocks," the buyers are going, "Okay," because they have other options on the table for the most part. Now, there's obviously unique neighborhoods and niche homes that, kind of don't fall in that category. But there's a reason why the rate is so high in 10 years. Okay, that's an interesting article. Now, I want to show you something, guys. Did you know? This is breaking news. This is literally breaking news. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Look at the 30-year fixed. 5.99%, guys. Hello. 5.99%. Guys, this is breaking news. 5.9. We haven't had a 5. I don't know how long it's been. This graph's pretty small, but I'll just bounce around a little bit here. Give me a second. Guys, I'm going to get to you right here. Oh, no. How about this? Nope. How about this? Oh, here we go. Somewhere right around here, guys. somewhere around 2022, August-ish, summer 2022, we had a 5 point something. Guys, we are at 5.99. Can we get a standing ovation for that? This is good. We need that because, like this article says right here, half of Americans struggle to pay rent or mortgage, with Gen Z hit the hardest. Why? Because rates are high and they cannot afford what's going on because prices are high too. Of course, we already know that. That's not a newsflash, but rates are high too. Now, if rates can come down and let's say prices just stay the same, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out the affordability comes down a little bit for a buyer to actually purchase more. Now, you combine that with the fact that wage growth in the state of Arizona is set to be projected around 4% in 2026. That is really good because if home appreciation even only goes up 1%, if it goes up 1%, but rates come down 5%, not 5%, but let's say 5% total for maybe, I don't know what that would be, but that'd be like, 6.6 and 8 down to 5 3/4. I have no idea. It's probably more than 5%. But if they did, and on top of that, wage growth goes up 4, you have a good situation on your hands in which buyers can actually jump in and afford a little more of a home. Okay. Bob, what's going on? Thank you so much for that. What's the best place to stay in Arizona? We want stuff to do. What's the best location? Okay, Bob. Now, on my channel, probably one of the best videos I did, which is 4 years ago, but all these things are very much so prevalent today. I did the 10 best things to do in Phoenix, Arizona. Check that out. That list is kind of cool. There's some things on there that you would not think of, okay? But I do enjoy Scottsdale. I do think Scottsdale, whether it be in central Scottsdale, Old Town Scottsdale, is going to give you the or even downtown Phoenix, honestly, it's getting a lot better. But those two areas are going to give you the best bang for your buck when it comes to entertainment. Now, it will not be the cheapest, but for entertainment and proximity to entertainment, those will be the two best locations to stay. Okay. The Desert Ridge area is good too, by the way, in the North Phoenix area by Scottsdale. All right. There's other great places too. Don't get me wrong. But when you want to be around things and all the hubbub and the buzz, that's where you want to focus. Guys, did I mention that rates are at 5.99% on the 30-year fixed? Oh my gosh, this is incredible. And also too, don't sleep on the 7-year ARM. The 7-year ARM right here, the adjustable rate mortgage, 5.29%. Guys, you know what that means, right? That means instead of getting the 5.99, which is fantastic, you can get a 5.29 if you believe rates will come down to, 5.5 over the next 7 years. Then you're hedging your risk really good. And by the way, that rate keeps dropping too. What does that signal? The spread between the adjustable rate mortgage and the 30-year fix signals that the smart money, the powers that be, think that the 30-year fix is going to continue to come down, because if they didn't believe that was the case, that number would actually start to increase on the ARM rate to close down that gap. Okay, just a little thing to watch when it comes to projecting where rates are going to be. All right, guys, we hit this pretty hard. I want to make sure you got the information right here. This is a lot of data. You have to really maybe squint a little bit on this one. But if you want to hear some cool stuff really fast, I'm not sure if it's cool, but it's data. Okay, guys, listings under contract 9,498 went under contract in the past 30 days. So demand's not great, but that's a pretty hefty number. That's a pretty solid number right there. Okay, days on market are now up to 91 days on market for an average home to sell. Okay, months of supply 4.7, almost 5 months. And what else? Median sales price, okay, is at $450 across the board in both metrics, monthly and annual. So you have that to work off too. Okay. Now, contract ratio heat map. This is kind of cool because this tells you where the deals are. Just give you a visual. I'm a visual person, guys. So looking at this, check it out. The orange color are places where it's, decent, a little bit above average. Okay. They're calling it hot, a little bit above average. Okay. And that would be 85028, which is kind of the PV Scottsdale area. Okay. You have North Phoenix 85024, which is a great zip code that's pretty affordable still. Okay. You have Glendale 85306 coming in hot. Okay. On the heat map. And then you have some East Valley zip codes, which are always somewhat hot. Chandler and Chandler. Because Chandler, guys, that's the Silicon Valley of the Southwest. Here you go. Chandler brings the heat when it comes to high-paying jobs. And so the value of their houses that typically stays a little higher. Okay. But you can tell where it derives the information from. The contract ratio is 63 currently. What does that mean? That means 106 homes are on the market, but 67 of them have gone under contract. There are a lot of buying activity in that area. Okay. Now, if you want a cold market, just go to the blue, right? And some of these higher end areas are blue. I mean, Chandler 85225, the older area of Chandler in the north side is cold. Okay. Scottsdale 85260, currently a little chilly. Okay. And then there's a lot of blue across the way. And then the green is pretty much balanced. So you get a feel for this map right here, kind of what is happening overall with a quick snapshot in the Phoenix area. All right. Now, let's hit some of this. Now, this is guys, I'm gonna do a separate video just on this article alone, I think, on my Instagram, because this is interesting. Sprouts Farmers Market signals difficult 2026 as transaction counts dip. Now, what are you talking about, Kelly? What in the world does that have to do with real estate? All right. I went to an investment seminar a while back, okay? And these guys that were pitching their product, they were selling institutional investments like REITs and things of that nature, okay? And one thing that stuck out, the guy said to me during that seminar, this is years ago, he said, "We love higher end grocery stores. Let's call it Whole Foods, Sprouts, AJ's Fine Foods, stores like that." Okay. And why? Why? Because groceries are a perishable item. And so it not only do we love those and invest in those because they're perishable items. And so they have to continue to restock with the product over and over again on a consistent basis. Okay. They also love the higher end ones. Why? Because the demographics of people that live around those high end grocery stores can afford a good, usually our homeowners, number one, because they can afford a house of some type, to the luxury end of the home buying spectrum. And why that's important is because they know people with money will pay a little bit of a premium for a product they want. The price is somewhat irrelevant. So now you take this and you combine it with real estate and you go, okay, in this case, Sprouts Farmers Market signals a difficult 2026 transaction counts dip. So is it possible that if Sprouts, which is a high-end grocery store, is saying that potentially 2026 could be a little rough, that maybe the real estate market, because the wealthy are going to stay put, not buy, not sell, whatever, are going to stay put? Interesting. Or maybe they're already signaling that they are. You see where I'm going with this, guys? There's signals in this stuff. So let's talk about what this story highlights. Sprouts Farmers Market ended 2025 with a slowing comparable sales momentum in Q4. The Phoenix-based grocer forecasts comparable sales will drop or grow just 1% in 2026. Then they plan to open up more stores and keep expanding. So, guys, they're not saying the sky is falling completely, that's for sure. But they are signaling that when they would love to see a positive growth of, I don't know, I'd say, here we go, second half of 2025, they had 5.9% in the third quarter. That is hefty. That is good, okay? But they are forecasting not 5.9%. They are forecasting 1%, okay? Maybe even minus or negative 1%. So if they're saying that because they saw slow growth in the end of 2025, could that signal to the overall market potentially that the market's going to be a little bit more of the same, kind of a lull, boring market in which there's not going to be a lot of home price appreciation? In fact, it could be even down 1%. Possibly, guys. So I'm going to be watching that, guys, but take that to heart because I think there's signals in a lot of these things. And I never connected the dot between those two until I was at that seminar years ago. And that guy said, this is why we love investing in high-end grocery stores, because of the demographics around there and that consuming behavior. Pay attention to it because we are in an economy that is propped up and based on consumer spending. Okay. So interesting, right? I mean, I find that fascinating. I hope you guys do too. Okay. But there's more development happening in Phoenix. Let's cover it, see what's going on. Okay. Here we go. This guy's opinion, my view. The issue isn't who owns homes in Arizona. It's how hard they are to build. Well, what in the world does he mean by that? Okay. Let's just get the snapshots. Arizona faces a shortage. You guys listen to this? Shortage of over 56,000 housing units, straining both the rental and the home buying markets. Single-family home permits dropped 12% from 24 to 25 due to regulatory barriers. Okay, this is what we're talking about when we talk about zoning and government regulations, okay? Institutional investors are creating affordable single-family rental options to diversify Arizona's housing supply, guys. So what this is going on to say, okay? What this is going on to say is this. Let's just break this down. Now, by the way, if you don't believe me, there's a shortage. Check this out right here. Here we go. Here's an article from Common Sense Institute of Arizona that talks about Arizona having a 56,000 housing unit shortage in the state alone. Okay, and this is not the most riveting thing to read. Let me tell you, I fell asleep twice, but the information is in there. Okay, so that being said, what do you guys think? What do you think about that? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's real? And what do you think it's going to do to the pricing of housing? I will tell you my thoughts. Okay, it's not going to be popular, but again, emotion causes you to act one way. Logic should cause you to act in a whole different way. And logic and data should be where you stay on, even though emotion wants you to believe something is true or going to happen that may actually not happen only because of the data saying it won't. Okay. But the media will spin you up in a tizzy trying to get you to think that this thing has to happen and feel strongly about it. Okay. Be connected to your emotions. Don't do that. Bad. Okay. Logic, good. Emotion, bad. Okay. So here we go. Did you know in Arizona, in Phoenix, there are institutional investors coming in and they are building, they're buying a parcel of land and building like single family homes that are just for rent. They're not for sale. No one can buy them. A whole community with single family homes with yards about that big, right? But it's a yard, so you can have the dog go, the bathroom, all that stuff. That's about it. That's all you have room for. And your neighbor is right next to you, the whole 9 yards. But they're your single family home, 4 detached walls, and everyone in there is renting. They cannot cost much to build. They are very small, and they look fine because they're new. But it's just like, you wouldn't want to live there if you had a choice. Okay. But a lot of people who are maybe older and do have a choice, they will choose because it just makes sense. Easy living, rent, and everything's new. Don't have to worry about things breaking, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But they are doing that because the shortage is a real thing. We think because we have 25,000 homes in the market right now, and we have a lot to choose from, buyers do when buying a home, which is very true, that, oh, what are you talking about? You don't have a shortage, but we do long term, midterm, long term. We do. And as soon as rates come down or maybe prices drop a little bit and affordability becomes a little better, people will jump off the fence and gobble up that supply. And it will happen pretty quick, guys. We saw this in 2021 after the V-shaped recovery that we had after COVID. Okay. We saw it. It could happen again. And if it does, the inventory will be eaten up pretty quick and will be even in a worse position. And if that happens, what happens to prices? I'm not an economist, guys, but I know enough to know in that situation, the law of supply and demand will tell you that prices will increase. And that's not what we need right now. So hopefully, if things get a little better, rates come down, affordability gets better one way or the other, rates coming down, prices coming down a little bit. Hopefully, prices will not just shoot up, right? Because everyone jumps in at once. So hopefully they can keep this interest rate thing coming down ever so slightly, ever so shortly and slowly. And we kind of just ease into this thing where we have maybe just decent price appreciation of 2 to 3, 4% a year. And that's about it. That's my hope. We'll see what happens. I know the Fed would love to have that happen, but that has not happened over the past several years. Thus we're in a revolving door with who's going to be taking over the Fed here in just a couple of months. Okay. Now, a few more things and we're out of here, guys. Okay. I'll get you back to your day, but there's some cool things here. Don't go yet. Don't you dare go yet. Here we go. Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals, NFL. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about NFL football? I would talk about it for the whole half hour on here if you would let me. That is a passion of mine, the sport of football. But I'm a Broncos fan, Cardinals fan, second team because I live here. I do embrace the Cardinals, but they haven't been good lately. However, this is cool. They are breaking ground on a brand new practice facility right on the border of North Scottsdale and North Phoenix off the Loop 101. So that will be ready in 2028, I believe. Yep, 28, I believe. Yep, opening 28. There it is. Okay. And that will be kind of cool. And it's going to have some other things around the area, commercial, like mixed use office, I think, around there as well. Okay. Speaking of upscale grocery stores, Whole Foods Market finally heads to the West Valley. Guys, they are finally getting one in the Arrowhead Town Center, which is an amazing part of Glendale, Arizona, in the Northwest Valley by Arrowhead, which is a phenomenal place to live. Man-made lakes. You can get on a boat. You can fish a little bit and have a good time there. And if you own a house on the water, that's really cool too. But Whole Foods is coming your way, and I'm sure you are stoked about that. I am for you guys. Okay. Another Costco is set to break ground in the Valley, and this is going to be where? around the TSMC campus, guys. What is not happening around or due to the TSMC campus? Now, I had people give me some hate on this one too, guys. They're talking about this being Taiwan West and all this stuff, right? And whatever, maybe so. I don't know. But guys, all I do know is that creating chips is a very viable product. We use them for everything, cars, computers, I mean, cell phones, the list goes on. And if we don't control that, as we saw with COVID, we could be in a pretty bad, tough situation. So I think I don't care if it's in Phoenix, put it in Nashville, put it in Fargo, North Dakota. I don't care, but I'm glad it's coming here, honestly, personally, to the United States, because in the event something really weird happens, like a pandemic, I mean, whoever thought that would happen, or something like that, we don't have to be, begging other countries to please give us some chips. And hopefully, by the way, we found that to be the case with China, right? With the Advil and a lot of the drugs, ibuprofen. So, obviously you don't want to be in that position if you don't have to be. So this is kind of cool. And even though we don't own the company, it's founded, obviously the owners are, I'm sure, in Taiwan, right? Where the main parent company of this company exists. This is one of two major players, and Intel being another one, in the chip space, semiconductor space. And so it's phenomenal to have it manufactured right here on US soil, in my opinion. So, and it's also creating just a plethora of high paying jobs for the local Phoenix area. So that is very, very good for our local economy. Let's just hope that we can build some housing and keep the affordability down, and all of that works out great in a very slow fashion over the next 30, 40 years, right? That's the idea. Pop, what's going on? Man, all I get is a LOL. Come on, bro. Can I get a what's up or something? No. But Pop, good to see you. Thanks for saying what's up on the show here today, guys. And last but not least, two more things. Team USA baseball coach plops down just a measly $10.6 million for a newly built Paradise Valley estate. Guys, this is Matt Holliday, previously of the St. Louis Cardinals. There you go. And he now coaches USA baseball and probably some other places as well. But that's the house he just bought for $10.6 million, moving from Oklahoma. And last but not least, I'm excited about this, guys. This is a new restaurant that they've been building for a little while here. The Italian restaurant Il Baracco, that probably was butchered completely, but is planned to open in Scottsdale in March of 26, guys, right around the corner. And it's his first Arizona location, and it will be in Scottsdale, which is phenomenal. 5,000 square foot restaurant. 5,000. It's big. Features more than $100,000 in original artwork alone. And the Western Edition Restaurant Group out of Dallas and Houston, I guess, is operating that restaurant. But guys, this will be very, very cool. It's an authentic Italian restaurant to be right here in the Scottsdale area. I mean, nothing screams Italian like Dallas, Texas, right? Okay. Yeah, you had me on that one. Or I had you, I think, on that one, right? But hey, apparently, I mean, I know it's good. It's highly rated. I do know that. So let's just go for it, right? And it's going to be here anyway. So let's go check it out if they actually come and open up here next month, which they should be. So I'm excited about that. It's down off Scottsdale Road, just north of McDonald, across from Rose Lane, where the Fox Restaurant Concept Blanco restaurant, which is, by the way, really good, I love that place, is located. Okay. So right there, and that's in that area where Houston's is, and that sort of thing, which is a phenomenal area for entertainment and dining. So guys, one more time, 5.99%. Hello, let's go. Lock that rate in. Give us a call at the number below, and we'd be happy to help you out. Put a plan together to maybe get yourself on a path to homeownership at some point here in the near future. Or maybe if you're just going to be in Phoenix for a little while, you need to rent. That's cool. Maybe you're going to be here on a contract for a job for a year or two. You probably should rent. That's cool. But outside of that, if you have an exit strategy of being in a house, living in the Phoenix area for quite some time with no end in sight until something changes, you might want to consider homeownership. And now is definitely a lot of leverage on the buyer's side to do so. So guys, until next Tuesday, don't you dare show up on Thursday or Friday, right? Tuesday, 4:00 every week, right here. We are dropping the knowledge and all the stats. Thank you very much, and keep it classy. Until next time, keep it classy, Phoenix. We'll see you.